Hey everybody, Scott Ogan coming at you here. Thanks so much for joining us in this week's video. We're going to be doing a live lesson here, and you're going to be seeing me in action, just talking with a student. Now, I wanted to give you a little background before we get into it, so you know what we're going for. But before we do that, if you're not a subscriber already, make sure you click that subscribe button down below. And once you do that, make sure you click the notifications as well, so you know whenever I put up a new video. Love to share with you. We got some Ask Scotts coming up and a couple more of our fundamental series as well. So we'll be doing a lot of that. Make sure you don't want to miss any of that. So again, thanks everybody for your support as we're doing this. Now, as we get into the lesson here, so we're going to be working with a student, Kevin. So Kevin is actually heading out. When we did this lesson, he was heading out the following week to play in a competition. So very important at this time that we start to look at ways to take what he's been working on and actually play with it. So you're going to see this lesson be a little bit different, where when we're trying to get ready to go out and play and be able to perform, we don't need to necessarily be adding anything new. You're going to see as he was working, you're going to see what he was working on, which was his club face tended to go way inside, get very open. So you're going to see him working very heavily on trying to keep the face a little more shut. We're trying to get him into a position that will let him hit some sort of a fade. That's what he would like to hit. So for that to happen, we do need the face to be more closed, because that's what's going to let the ball start to the left of the target and then cut on back. So that's where he was working. When we start talking through the lesson, you're going to see we talk a lot about strategies and trying to learn what we've developed in previous lessons to be able to take that to the golf course. So hopefully this helps. I'd love to hear any questions or comments you have about the lesson, anything that you might not understand. Would love to be able to share that with you, and we'll give you a glimpse into what it's like with the lesson with me. That looks good. All right, so here's what we got to do, right? So you're going to play next week. Oh God, that sounds so good. Sounds so awesome. You're going to play next week. So today's the day you got to make some decisions, right? So you got to say, all right, no more, unless it's broken, we got to fix it, but no more fixing anything or changing anything. It's like, all right, now it's go time. So the decisions I would make are, all right, what's the ball flight that works? Okay. So is it a draw? Is it a fade? Or, and it doesn't matter. It's just, all right, what's the one? And so, okay, let's do that. And then, okay, once you make that decision, all right, let's hit a few drivers. Same thing. What are you going to do with the driver? So you're basically strategizing it out. If you're psycho like me, I'm already planning on getting on Google Earth or getting on the Grant and just looking at the courses.
You haven't already done that.
I've done it slightly. I've done it in the past like crazy, and then I'm like, wait, I'm going to get on the Grant. But, it's like doing stuff like that. All right, what would work? Yeah, I mean, I don't have to be crazy. I mean, it's not going to matter when we get out there anyway. But, yeah, it's just going to be like, oh, I'm going to hit 4-iron here. Get out there. Oh, this is way more open than I thought. Driver in the woods. But, it's just, what do you expect to see? So kind of like what we were talking about with strategy, it's all right, what's the typical shot? And when you play really good golf, it's not about hitting every fairway. It's about hitting it and giving yourself the most room to keep it in play. So that's what you want to decide. So that's what I would be doing, is that, and trying to figure that out. So again, we kind of set you up to do either and do it well. It just depends. So kind of depends on what happens. So what we're going to do is hit like a series of 10 shots. Let's just hit what, you got 8-iron there? 7, that's fine. So we're going to do a series of 10. So we're just going to reset it. So it's just blank. And just let's hit 10 and let's see what we get. Okay. So kind of explaining that. Because this is the number one thing that I see in our group in general, is this, right? Is this stuff. It's like, all right, when we go to hit the ball, I mean, it's like you got no chance, or you got to hit the perfect shot, and sometimes it happens, but.
Because that's what it's probably like. If it's a front pin, and say a full wedge is 135, you don't get it. Well, now you're short of the green.
Right.
Are you better off just hitting?
And then you got an awkward chip when you do that.
Yeah.
You got a short-sided chip. Yeah, I mean, it's just about playing averages, like, you know, and that's the thing is like you never truly like eliminate one side of the golf course. It's you know, none of that stuff, but you just start to understand what you do.
Yeah.
That's the key. It's, you know, so for me, like I'm a little drawer of the ball. Z Train's a little drawer of the ball.
Yeah.
So, you know, at least I think I am. So for me, we'll look, you know, for you, it's, I think it's obvious what you do. It's just a little, like what you're comfortable is a little baby fade. You know, that's what it seems like, and that's what happens, and that's what makes sense to me. You know, and you don't go very left ever. Not, and again, like you're going to play for a fade. Never saying you're never going to hit the ball and have one go left on you, but it's very rare and it's not that big. So you just start playing golf this way. You know, and so we'll throw a green up there after this last one, because yeah, I mean you're hitting them good, swinging it good, so. We start looking at it. All right, what do you think it goes? What's the 7-iron go?
Last year I would have played it 170.
Okay.
175. 170.
Okay, so I found it, maybe I'm a little short in here too, so who knows? Could be a variety of reasons. Could be the equipment, it could be the balls, it could be we're just not swinging it as, you know, freely, whatever, you know, it's early. But the couple of things I would look at are, is the side, okay? So if we look over here, what we're gonna see is on the sides, okay, anytime it's negative, that's left. So you only had one negative out of that. You actually had one that started dead straight and ended up pretty straight. So everything a little to the right, here's your, again, same things, here's where they finished. So your average is 14 yards. So that's, you know, 30 feet, 40 feet. So what you want to play everything at with a 7-iron is everything's got to be, like you said, like if the pin is in the middle of the green, you want to be thinking, all right, my target is the back left portion, and let it work its way there. And if it overcuts, it's going to the right side. Yep. Straight, you're in the back left corner. If you pull it, you're on the left side of the green. So, because you never, I mean, the most you went left was that 14, not much. So that's where you would start to play. So we'll actually fire up the course here in a sec, but you want to think that, okay, all right, what's my strategy there? Just like you said, I see that all the time. It's like front pin. All right, cool. I'm going to knock it right on there. Well, actually, if you went a little long, you'll be surprised how much you actually end up right on it. So it's just that, like, we always put circles out there. So they showed the graphic at the Honda on one of those par threes from the yardage, whatever it was from a tee box, it was like 32 feet, the average for a tour player. So they drew a 32-foot circle around the pin. Well, part of that puts them in the water. Okay, so what then you realize is, okay, for this whole shot dispersion where this ball could possibly be on a fairly good shot, right? That's average. It could go bigger, it could go smaller. They have to take that average now and move it because they don't want any part of that circle in the water. That you got to decide where you don't want to be, right? And so they take that and they move it over. And so, yeah, does that put more of the circle in the bunker on the left? Yeah, it does, but it'll make all of it on the green. It takes away the really, unless you hit a horrible shot, which you can't do anything about, then you got to start looking at it that way. So we're going to hit a few drives and start saying, okay, let's see where your driver is and let's play a couple holes and see where you go. So let's see a couple drivers here. Does that kind of make sense on a aiming thing? So if I'm getting ready to play, you know, that's what I'm doing, is thinking, okay.
Also, I know the first time we do this, we talked about if it's in the left hand, you get your hand moving.
Yeah.
And you felt thinking about it quicker.
You can't, yeah.
I was doing that. I hit 10 balls. I was trying to hit the 3, but not trying to necessarily hit left or right.
True. And so you can make, there's 2 decisions you can have right there too, is one is you just say left pins aren't your thing.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Like I went through a phase when I was playing my best, mine was just right pins on the right. I just didn't go at them. I'd aim straight at it, knowing I was going to draw into the middle of the green. And I just, I just said, can't do anything about it. And so you have that choice, or you can do it and actually try it. And just see if you can pull it off and work from the middle of the green, like we were saying. Yep. So you could do that too. Just kind of depends on how it's feeling. So you got to know what your go-to is. The reason why you want to know what your standard is and your go-to is because typically when you're under pressure and which there's going to be tons of pressure out here, that actually is going to be true. But you're going to usually go to what you normally do. Yeah. So no matter what you do, unless you're really, really good. All right, everybody, so that was that lesson. We continued on. We actually took it onto the course, just taking the same ideals and just putting those into an on-course setting, which is a huge benefit of being indoors with the simulator. But that's something I like to try to do when we are outside anyway. We'll usually hop in a cart and go play a few holes. But I think the biggest thing I wanted to share this lesson with everybody was because, we've gone through the typical steps, doing video analysis, taking a look at the golf swing, kind of fixing some of the normal position type stuff that you see all the time in golf instruction. But I thought this was a great lesson because as I go and try to help people get ready to perform, the lesson shifts. And so the lesson now has become, all right, how do you learn what you're going to do? And this was a lesson I learned really the hard way growing up was, hey, you have to start learning how to commit and understand what you're going to be doing when you get out there to play and not just hope it all works out for the best. So this was a great lesson with Kevin. He had some great success. He ended up finishing second in his event. The last time he played in the event, which is on an annual basis, he ended up getting almost at the bottom. I believe he might have been last. So he moved up quite a few spots and was almost the winner of the whole event. So it was a great time to share with him some ideas about ball flight strategy, which he used very well, and then being able to go from there. So hopefully this helps you with trying to take stuff to the golf course. Hopefully this will help you in a live lesson format. What we do is we do the dispersions. We start looking at what's your pattern, and then how are you going to use your pattern. That's really the key to playing really good golf. It's not about hitting it dead straight. It's about learning your pattern and hitting that pattern and trusting it. So again, thanks everybody for watching. Comment down below if you have any questions. What's your process to get started as you go to play golf? What do you do to get yourself ready to take your game to the golf course? And if you are not a subscriber, make sure you click that subscribe button below. We've got our next video will be Ask Scott. We're going to be talking fairway woods. Had a great question sent in about that, so we'll be doing that. So make sure you comment down below, and we'll see you in the next video.